Here's Brody Brazil.
Okay, so in this video, I'm going to try and explain a feeling I'm having right now about the San Jose Sharks that I've never actually felt before. This is odd, but if I just come out and say it right at the very beginning of this video, you'll have some questions, and you may actually have some misconceptions about it. You may take this the wrong way. So to properly set up my feelings, again, which are brand new to me regarding the Sharks, I need to explain a lot of things from the very beginning. I mean, I need to have a lot of declarations here. I think there's 6 of these in total. First off is this. Personally, I've been watching the Sharks since 1993, the first year they moved into the Tank, now SAP Center. And obviously, I've been working with them professionally since 2009. And across all those years and seasons and decades, I have never, ever, ever been happy about a loss. And I say never happy about a loss. I've been distraught at the end of certain seasons, and maybe even 2016 specifically, going all the way to the Stanley Cup Final, tasting it, seeing it, and then watching somebody else getting it. And knowing that it was that close, and knowing that there were so many things that had to go right just to get to that moment. But also other years where there was so much hope and optimism, and when the playoffs were over, I used to have this equation of however many rounds the Sharks advanced, or any team advances, you, the fan, you, the broadcaster, you give yourself 1 week of recovery time per round that your team got in the playoffs. So, it would take me 3 weeks sometimes to get over a Sharks season that went to the Western Conference Final. So, again, it's not just the loss of an entire season, but game nights. It's so much more pleasant, right? And obviously, I'm part of the broadcast. I hope the team always does well, individually and collectively. So this is obvious, right? I've always pulled for them to win every single time out. I never show up to the rink or the studio and say, well, I don't really care about this one. No, I literally care about every single game. Declaration number 2, forget me. How about the players, the coaches, people in the front office, people who are hands-on with the hockey operations of the San Jose Sharks? Know this. They have only one aim, and that is to win every single moment. And period. But you see what I'm saying here and why I'm saying it like this. It's not even about winning every game. It's not even about winning every period. It's like literally trying to win every single shift. They are so competitive. You can see the fire in their eyes, even in a season like this where, as I record this, they only have, 6 home wins and 19 total wins. And right now they've lost 14 out of 15 as I record this. They are so frustrated and pissed off by it. They know nothing else. They're not fans. They're players. This is what they do for a living. This is not what they've been trained to do, is get the results that they have been as of late. So you do need to understand that as declaration number 2. How about number 3? The San Jose Sharks as a franchise are very much in a rare spot at the bottom of the NHL standings. And I say that, but one team has to be at the bottom of the standings, right? That's always the case. But when across their 30-plus years have the Sharks ever really been in this spot? Yeah, the first year. But since then, this late in the year, I don't mean a week in, they've had a rough spot. I mean with 9 games to go in the season, how many times have they found themselves at or even near the bottom? Not even near the bottom. Also this, it's bound to be now 4 years in a row without the playoffs. 3 in a row had never even happened before, let alone here we are at the 4th straight season without a postseason. So this is a rare spot, and I say that, and I know how fortunate we've all been that this team has always had it together, and quite honestly, we're fortunate in knowing they've got the right people in place to get everybody back to that same spot. So this sounds bad, but at the same respect, it points out how lucky we've been and how lucky we are moving forward to be headed back to that right spot. So you understand, this does not happen all the time. Some franchises in sports, this happens a lot. Declaration number 4, aside from the Sharks, this year's NHL draft class is pretty special. The best in a long while. And it's not just Bedard or Fantilli. You go down the list. The top 10 in general is in a class of their own. This type of draft does happen. Was it 15 or 16 was the last big one? But I think it's safe to say you have a draft class like this maybe every 8 to 10 years. And that's about right. We're basically at 8 years since the last big one, but it could be 12 until the next big one. So you're having a rough season. You have your draft pick intact, fortunately. Like, do you see what I'm saying? The stars are all aligning for this, and the Sharks didn't try to put themselves in this position. This is where they find themselves. That's a point later on. Declaration number 5, the Sharks could use their next franchise player. Now, watching Patrick Marleau get his number retired, was that about a month ago? And seeing him and Jumbo there and reminiscing upon, great teams that were in the playoffs every single year. I mean, Jumbo and Patty were both franchise players. And that's not a disrespect to any other great player that was on those teams. Joe Pavelski, a Ryan Clough, a Danny Heatley, a Logan Couture, a Marc-Edouard Vlasic, a Brent Burns, like on and on and on. It's just to say that, like, there are some next franchise type players available, most likely in this upcoming draft. And to get back to that state of, continuous, I'm not going to say relevancy, but, to be competitive year after year, you kind of need your next franchise player. And it hit me as I watched the door officially shut on Patrick Marleau's career as a Shark and obviously Jumbo's career as a hockey player. We're in that middle ground of not maybe having that person right now. Maybe the Sharks could get that next player in this draft. Which brings us to declaration number 6. The Sharks did not try to get here. I know a lot of people say, well, you could see this coming, and to some degree, sure. But trading away Timo Meier had to be done. Unfortunately, I think Mike Grier was upfront and honest about that. Not a trade he wanted to make, but due to a hard salary cap, something he had to do. And since the Sharks are here, and you're not here very often, and it is a loaded draft class, like I said, there is a consolation that comes with this. And other teams have been benefiting from this for years. The Sharks, kind of like the Detroit Red Wings of like the 90s and the 2000s, they went so many years in the playoffs and so many years without even a top 10 pick. How do you stay competitive when you are not refreshing your pipeline? I don't know how they did it all those years. They just found the right players, made the right moves, but it's hard to do that. That's why this is built in the system. I'm not saying the Sharks tried to aim for this, but this is where we are. And there is something that comes out of this that you get to benefit from if you are unfortunately in this situation. But I think that word unfortunately, and I've been saying that a lot, Sharks are unfortunate to be here. Sure, that might be true, but it's time to stop saying that, because now after these declarations, I'm ready to share my feeling here. These final 9 games, for me, they are way more about individual success and performance than team results. I'm choosing my words here carefully. I know a lot of you are saying something different. I'm not going to say what you're thinking right now about these final 9 games and the results that you're pulling for. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that these final 9 games for me are more about players getting the goals they wanted to get, getting the assists, showcasing, getting some ice time. If you're Andrew Agozzino, keep getting a point per game. If you're Erik Karlsson, get those final 10 points and get to 100 and secure yourself the Norris Trophy. It's weird. I am going to say that I guess I'm not into the team results like normal. And that's the weirdest part. That's the part that trips me out. For somebody like me who gets down after losses or after losing stretches, but we're in the midst of having lost 14 of the last 15. And I think 17 out of the last 19, if you really take it back to about Valentine's Day. That's kind of when the rough stuff really hit. So I am here to basically say, let the results be what they are in these final 9 games. I'm still rooting for individuals. I want all that stuff to happen. I want great stuff to happen. I want David Quinn to have success stories, and I want him to find some things out. And I want some players to really finish this season as strong as they can. And then I'll just leave it at that. My feeling is I want what's best for the franchise, and what's best for the franchise is the future. So I don't know that there's any other time that I'll ever say this again, because you understand this is taking a lot of things to kind of come together here to generate this situation. I know I've never said this before. I've absolutely never said something like this before. But we're here, and I'm saying it now, and I'm saying it out of love and hope and optimism for the San Jose Sharks. I'm saying it because I want what's best for them, and I've never felt like this, and I feel awkward even sharing what I just said because it just goes against me. But you know what? Loving this team the way I do and wanting for them what I do, this is probably what's best. So do you understand what I'm saying? Let me know in the comment section below. Thumbs up on this video if you liked it, or especially if you agree, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so I can see you next time.